Okay, let's talk about English spelling. For most of us, it feels like a total chaotic mess, right? But what if I told you there's actually a hidden logic to it all? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to uncover the secret system behind the spelling that drives, well, pretty much all of us crazy.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. It's a complaint we've all had. You know that feeling you're just staring at a word and you think, why on earth is it spelled like that? It's this universal frustration, and it doesn't matter if English is your first language or your 10th.
Okay, now this is going to sound a little crazy, but just stick with me here. What if it's actually one of the most logical systems in the world? Yeah, I know. But what if the problem isn't that the system is broken, but that we've all been given the wrong instruction manual for how to read it?
All right, Section 1, the spelling chaos. Before we get to the logic, we have to start here. We have to acknowledge the chaos, because that frustration you feel, it's not just in your head. Oh no, the evidence for it is literally everywhere.
Just take the infamous OUGH combination. You've got through, though, tough, thought, and thorough. I mean, it's the same 4 letters, but every single one has a completely different sound. This right here is Exhibit A in the case against English spelling.
And then you've got the silent letters. They feel like little linguistic booby traps, don't they? Seriously, what is the point of the K in night, or the B in debt, or the cess in island? They just sit there, silently, waiting to make us all look bad in a spelling bee.
All right, moving on to Section 2, a history in 3 layers. Because here's the twist. All that chaos we just talked about, it isn't random. Not at all. It's actually a historical record. It's kind of like layers of rock in geology. So to understand the spelling, we have to become language archaeologists and dig through the history of English.
See, English is a total linguistic mutt. At its base, you've got the rugged, earthy roots of Old English. That's the Germanic stuff. Then, layer 2, after 1066, the Norman invasion slaps on this sophisticated layer of French. And finally, layer 3, during the Renaissance, scholars basically went on a shopping spree, borrowing all these fancy scientific words from Latin and Greek. The thing is, each of these layers brought its own spelling rules to the party.
And that is the absolute key here. Spelling isn't chaos, it's a historical archive. It was never designed just to represent sound. Nope, it evolved to be a living museum, a way to preserve the origin story of every single word right there in its letters.
Okay, Section 3, when sound changed everything. So you're probably thinking, fine, it's a historical archive, but why is it so disconnected from how we actually speak today? Well, the answer lies in this one massive historical event that just completely shattered the link between the written word and the spoken sound. It's called the Great Vowel Shift, and what this was a massive change in how English vowels were pronounced between the 15th and 17th centuries. We're talking a huge deal. Over a couple hundred years, the way people said their long vowels just fundamentally changed. Imagine if tomorrow everyone started saying the E in meat like the I in might. It was that big of a shift.
And here's the crucial part of the story. Pronunciation changed, but the spelling, it got frozen in time. Right as spoken English was going through this massive change, the printing press was invented. And what that did was basically freeze spelling right where it was. All of a sudden, the written language was set in stone, and it became this perfect fossil of how English used to sound.
You can see this perfectly with a word like night. Today, we just say night. We don't pronounce that K or the GH. But guess what? Centuries ago, people did. The historical pronunciation was something more like Knecht. So the spelling we use today, it's a perfect echo, a fossil of that old pronunciation.
Okay, Section 4, the hidden logic of words. So we've established that spelling is a historical fossil, but how on earth does that make it logical? Well, this is where we get to the truly brilliant part of the whole system.
The big secret is this: spelling preserves word families and meaning. The logic isn't about sound, what we call phonetic. It's morphological. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying that our spelling system cares more about connecting words that share a meaning or a root, even if their sounds change over time.
Here's a perfect example. Think about the word sign. The G is totally silent, right? So why is it even there? Well, it's there because it visually connects sign to its family. Words like signal or signature or designate. In those words, you can hear that G loud and clear. The spelling is there to show you they all belong together, to show you their shared meaning.
Or how about this one? The vowel sound in heal is totally different from the vowel sound in health. If we just spelled them by how they sound, they'd probably look like heal and health or something. But by keeping that EA spelling in both, it instantly shows us, hey, these two words are related. The logic is for your eyes, not for your ears. All right, section 5, let's put this all together. Spelling is a fossil. It's time to completely reframe how we look at this whole thing.
So here's the bottom line. English spelling is optimized for memory, history, and meaning, not just sound. This system isn't broken, it's just built for a completely different purpose than we thought. It's designed for the eye of a reader, to help us instantly see the connections between huge families of words. It was never really designed for the ear of a listener. And I just love this way of thinking about it. English spelling isn't broken, it's a fossil. And you know what? Fossils tell stories. Every single word is a tiny little time capsule, carrying evidence of its journey through old Germanic forests, fancy French courts, ancient Latin libraries. Once you know what you're looking for, you start to see the stories everywhere. So now that you can read the fossil, does spelling finally make a little more sense? Because that's the real secret, you know? Once you get that spelling is a code for meaning and history, not just for sound, all that chaos just disappears. And what's left is this incredibly deep logical archive. So the only question left is, what stories are you going to find?